Hello folks, Junkie Rock 13 here. Everything vaping related, it's Junkie Rock 13. My real name is Ross Sanders, and I'm here bringing you another review. And this one is of the China Did clone, or some people are calling it the Griffin. There's a few vendors that are selling these. I'm sure there will be a lot more really soon. But it is their first Genesis mini atomizer tank. I'm going to take a look at it, and guess what? I have another contest giveaway. Go figure. So let's take a look at this, and I'll talk about it and do that contest. See what we got. Alrighty folks, so here we go with the Did clone close-up. I want to show you that this is the packaging that I received it in. My hands are a little wet, I'm sorry. You can see that it comes with a little Allen key in there, drip tip on there, and there is a wick already in there, already wrapped. You may need to finagle with the wick a little bit, or the coil a little bit, but for the most part the setup is not bad out of the box. Okay, so let's just take a look at a fully disassembled one. Okay, right here we have the stainless steel tank tube, I guess you want to call it. I don't believe this is real stainless steel, because I sanded down a little part, or excuse me, I bored out the air hole on it, and I could see some brass coloring in it. But this is the tank part. Now you can purchase clear tanks for them. This is not one that I purchased. This is one that I made from a 4 milliliter DCT tank that had the same diameter, and I cut it down to the same size as the stainless steel one, and I am now using the clear one. But for the review, I will be using the stainless steel one, the one that comes with it. Now they are being sold with clear tanks on some sites. Excuse me. Alright, so here is the top piece with your 510 drip tip connection there. A little beveled slant top there, and this is what I wanted to show you. The air hole that came standard with this was a lot smaller than this. This is a bored out hole to 1/16 of an inch. Now if you look closely in there, you might be able to see that the color is a little brass in there. You might not be able to tell, but also on the bottom here, I actually had to set sandpaper down flat on the floor, on the table, and sand it down a little bit, because when I was tightening it, when I screwed the top on, the air hole did not line up with the wick, and I like the air hole lined up with the wick. So what I actually had to do is sand this down. So if you do have the issue, let me just show you real quick. The air hole, the wick hole, is right there. When you tighten this down on here, if the air hole is not lined up directly with that, you're going to get a really strong throat hit. So mine was off a little bit. It was off to the side. So with sanding this down, I wasn't sanding the threads down or anything in there, but sanding it down a little bit on the sandpaper, I just took enough off, and now it lines up right with the wick. So if you are experiencing that issue, you might want to consider doing that. Alright, let me just show you. This is the center post that goes through the tank. Now there's two little O-rings on there, and threaded section right there. Coming down with a cold. Here's the positive post. It's got a flat bottom, threaded top. This is your bottom part. It's got a 510 connection right there. Some slant knurled section, a little O-ring here, and the threaded inside. This top section has the threading on the inside, and then there are holes, one for the wick. I'm using this one as a fill hole, and when you do get this little Allen screw, there's actually two of them, one here and one here. I've already misplaced one. I was not using it in the device while I was vaping it because this hole I like to leave it open so I can get more airflow and the air movement, which it causes it to wick better. So if you are having wicking issues, you might want to take out that little screw also. But try not to misplace it like I have. Then you get a standard 510 drip tip. 3 little nuts here. Not 2, but 3 nuts. Okay. There's a flat end right here on this side. And then there is a kind of step down side right there, and I'm going to show you why I'm showing you that. Now 3 of them are all the same, and then you get a little Allen key for that screw in there. Alright, now let's put it together. The bottom 510 connection part, we're going to start with this. Grab the inner post, and we're going to just screw that in all the way till it stops. Then we're going to take the tube, push it right down over them O-rings. Okay, now we're going to take the top part, and when you go to push this down, you have to remember it has to screw on. So turn your threading, or turn it on the threading, and make sure you tighten it down all the way. I have had no leaks with this device, so it has been working very well for me. Take your center post and push it right up through the center, and it will come right out the little rubber section in there. Okay. Push it all the way through, and if that little rubber piece does step up a little bit. Now that little rubber piece in there, mine has looked like it may have melted a little bit. I'm not sure if it has, but it looks, I did not inspect it really good when I first got it. I contacted someone else and they said no, theirs was not melting. I don't give it really long dry burns, so I don't know how the heat might have melted it, but I'm going to keep my eye on that. But if that piece does seem to melt, I will just have to find a Teflon or a Delrin piece that will go in there that will stand up to the heat a little bit better. Then once you have that center post through, we're going to take one of these little nuts and tighten it down onto the center post. Tighten it all the way down. Then when I go to put on the next one, I'm going to look for the little kick out side right there, and I'm going to put that down towards the other bolt. Now the reason I'm going to do that is because I want the flat side up towards the top, because I want the other one going flat up against that one, like that. So there is 2 flat sides butting together to hold the wick or the wire in there. Okay, now that I have that in there, we can go in there and drop some wire in there. I'm just going to grab my piece of 32 gauge Canthal. What I'm going to do is just put a little loop in it. Okay. Make sure this screw is not tightened down all the way. And what I'm going to do with the loop right there, okay, I'm going to put it underneath that little negative post right there. I hope you can see that. Okay. And I'm going to pull the wire right over the center of that hole. Then I'm going to tighten it up. Okay. I need 3 hands sometimes. Make sure it's nice and tight. Okay. And then I'm just going to take this section, straighten it out with my finger a little bit. Then this little piece that's hanging off, pull back through the other side and just give it some turns, and it should, oh, that other bolt came right off. And it should come off nice and flush, so there's no piece hanging off. Throw that off. Now let me put that bolt back on there. I didn't screw it down tight far enough. Alright, now that I have the wire in there, I'm going to take the wick. Now this wick is not the one that came with it. This is the wick that I have made for this device. You could watch my video on how to make wicks. I'm going to put it in there. And I want you to all remember, when you're using stainless steel wicks, you do not want it touching the bottom of the tank. So what I do, even before I start wrapping the coil, is pull it up just a hair so it's not touching the bottom. Okay? And if I can't get it to stay there now, what I do is when I tighten it, or when I wrap the wire around it, I actually pull the wick up so it's not touching. Okay? Now it just has to be off the bottom. It doesn't have to be far off, just enough so it's not touching the bottom. Okay, so when we go to start wrapping the wire, you're going to spin the device and not wrap the wire. Okay, what I mean by that is hold the wire nice tension and spin the device. Once you come to this portion, you're going to want to hold the wire a little bit with your finger and bring it over the center post, push it down where it's lined up there, and keep on spinning the device with nice tension, not super tight, but just nice tension. Bring it back over, keep on spinning, get to here, bring it over one more time, spin it one more time. Okay, now when I come to my last wrap, I'm going to bring it right around the center post one more time, but now I'm not going to wrap it around the wick. I'm going to kick it right in between them 2 bolts and bring it right back over to the wick. Now that I have it to the wick, I'm going to pull it with tension with this finger and tighten up the bolt with this hand. Make sure it's tightened all the way down. And just make sure when you do that, that you did not tighten it and the top wrap got loose because you spun it out with tightening up the bolt. So now I'm going to take a toothpick, and please use a toothpick or a plastic thing, a pen top or something. I have used my dental tools, but sometimes I have scratched the stainless steel wick and caused shorts. So what I'm going to do is just space out these wraps that I did here and just make sure they're kind of even, nice and spaced out evenly. Okay, I'm going to hold, make sure this is tight all the way down. I'm going to take this wire and just pull it off to the side here. I'm going to grab my device that I'm going to put it on, and for this demonstration I'm just going to put it on the V-tube. Now I usually don't break off this wire just yet because I want to see if I'm going to have to adjust this wire. I have it set at, I'll put it at 3.7, and I will give it a little fire. Okay, it doesn't seem like there's any raging hot spots. What I like to do is, with my dental tool, this little straight run right here from the negative to the stainless steel wick, is take my dental tool and put a bend in there. What this does is it actually gives the wire a little bit more touching surface to the wick. Okay, and sometimes you get a hot spot in here, and that also can be done up here in this part if you have this straight run across here too. If you put a little bend in it, it gives it a little more touching surface against the wick, and a lot of times that eliminates them hot spots. I'm going to push this up a little more because I wasn't seeing the coiled red. Okay, we're going to just give this another fire. And I know the lighting is bad, so you're not going to be able to see if it's turning red that good. Okay, the top ones are turning a little bit redder than the bottom ones. So what I'm going to do is push the top ones down a little bit. Let's try that one more time. Okay, I'm going to give this a little bit more power because I want to see if it's not getting red down there. Okay, focus so you can see what I'm seeing. They look like they're all getting red together, which is very good. I know you can't see it on the video that well because of the lighting. So now that I have a comfortable wick, I'm going to make sure this is down all the way. Oh, it wasn't down all the way. You know what actually happened is the wire was caught in one of the threading in there, and it wasn't, the bolts were not touching together. So let me try to fire that one more time, see if that made a difference. Okay, let me move that one. Why did I grab that? Move this top wire just up just a hair. Make sure it's not touching the bolts there. They look nice and even. One more time. They're getting red together. Very nice. Now I will take the top piece here and just give it some turns, and it'll come off nice and even. So now let me show you how to put on the drip tip. Oh, excuse me. Let me throw some juice in here. Now I have a big 20 ml syringe with 4 mils of juice. Okay, I want to see exactly how much juice is going to go in this. on the video. So I'm going to squeeze some in there. And I have some lemon chiffon from the Plume Room. Very nice juice. Okay, now it's coming up right there. Okay, so I basically have like a little less than a mil left in there. So about 3 mils of juice. So let's see how it wicks. I know you can't see the stainless steel wick, but it's wicking up the juice nicely. Let's see what we got here. We'll see if we got any hot spots. Looks very nice. Okay. So I'm going to put the top on there. Now the wick is right there. And I'm going to put the top on. Okay. Now it's lined up directly with that. Put my drip tip in. Let's see how it vapes. And talk about it. Alrighty folks, so there you have it. There's a close look at the did clone. Like I said, I'm not going to be calling it the Griffin for the video. I'll be calling it the did clone. Some people call it the Griffin. Other people are selling it and a different name, but we're going to call it the did clone because that's what I bought it under as. Now I'd like to say with the hole, the air hole bored out at the when it came standard, I was not getting that much vapor. It wasn't satisfactory to my liking. So what I did was I bored it out with my drill bit at 1/16 of an inch. Now you can do that, or you can leave it standard, whatever you like. You want to go a little bit smaller in between what the standard is and 1/16. That's fine. It's your device. You do what you want to do. I prefer 1/16 of an inch. Okay. The did clone. Let me show you how it vapes, and then we'll talk about it. Now, for people that haven't vaped on Genesis devices, if they get one of these and they don't know what they're doing, the air hole, in my opinion, this is how I vape it. Point it towards the floor, okay? If it is lined up with the wick. You want the wick down towards the floor on the device, because when the juice is coming down the device, you want it to go down the wick to help the wicking process. Because the air hole on my devices are lined up with the wick, I put the air hole towards the floor and I vape them that way. That's the way I vape. Other people do it other ways, and that's fine too. Let me show you how this one vapes, and then we'll talk about this one. Alright, so it works, okay. I was not getting that much vapor with the standard hole, the air hole that was in it. Sorry, it's very cloudy in here right now. This is a, let me check that juice. I'm not sure what it is. Oh, it does not say. It's a vendor blend. But I'm thinking it's around a 50-50 blend. So it's 18 mil juice. It's at 1.6. My 4 wraps was 1.6, and I have it right now at 4.3 volts. It's vaping great. I'm not going to say it's going to stand the test of time like the other real stainless steel devices. I don't believe this is pure stainless steel. That little rubber piece in there makes me worried a little bit because I think it is melting from the heat in there. But I can replace that little piece. Just concerned more about the metal. I'm not going to give it a bad review. I like the way it vapes. I have a place for it. I'm going to keep it. And I don't think it's a bad device. I bought this one on a co-op, so I did not pay the prices that the vendors are selling them for. But if I had to buy it over again, I probably would. And if I was new to the Genesis devices, I probably would pick this up. And if I really did like it, I might decide to pick up a Real Did or a Cobra or a Bliss or a Ziadi or a Genesis Hybrid or an Orion Hybrid. They're all pretty decent Genesis devices. This one is on the cheaper end, but it has its place. Maybe for people that haven't tried Genesis devices, this is a good way to look at it. But let me show you how to vape one more time, and then we'll talk about that contest. One more thing. When you're vaping Genesis devices, you're not going to vape them like you vape cartomizers or atomizers. You're going to pull it a little bit slower into your mouth. You can do the direct lung hit, but I pull it slow into my mouth and then suck it down into my lungs. And you can see the vapor is great. Throat hit is great. Flavor with all Genesis devices is pretty stellar in my book. There's nothing like a Genesis vape. Like I said, the DID clone has its place in our little community, and if you want to try one, look at your local vendor that's selling them. Go online, check them out. I know Discount Vapes has it, called the Griffin, and I think Stormy's Vapor Seller sells it, and I'm sure a lot more vendors are going to be selling it real soon. So that's the DID clone. Let's talk about the contest. Okay, the DID clone. I purchased 2 of them, and I have one for a lucky winner out there. So what you need to do is be a subscriber to my YouTube channel, and you need to comment on this video in the YouTube section. So if this video is posted on a forum and you comment on the forum, you're not going to be entered in the contest. You need to comment on the video in the YouTube comment section. So this China DID clone will be yours. Now it comes with the Allen wrench. It comes with a wick pre-made in there, and it's already wrapped. I only vaped on this pre-made wick for about 10 minutes, and then I decided to put my own wick and wrap my own coil in there. But I know what I was looking for, and that wasn't supplying it for me. And then I also drilled out the air hole. And the air hole in here, I know you're not going to be able to see it on the video, is very small. And it just wasn't satisfying me. So there's the contest. Please enter to win and try out the DID clone. Folks, I know this video is crazy long, but I wanted to show this. I haven't seen another video out there that went into good detail about the DID clone yet. So look at it, enter, and see what we have. Vape on, everybody. Junkie Rock 13 here. Take care.